We're kicking off with Ricky Starks, and just one day after being released from AEW, the former tag team champion appeared in WWE NXT and cut a promo among the fans in the PC. Starks appeared without music but was serenaded with applause and a holy crap from commentary's Vic Joseph before fans chanted the name of the former AEW star. He said, "If NXT is the future of professional wrestling, well guess what? You need an absolute superstar of the future. If this is the hottest brand, well then you need the hottest free agent right now, baby. Everyone's been asking when the Revolution will be televised again. Well, I'm right here, aren't I?" Starks was removed from AEW's roster on Monday and was free and clear to go wherever he wanted to perform with no non-compete clause attached. It had been reported by several outlets that Starks' contract with AEW was set to expire this spring after AEW picked up the option year on his contract but didn't use him on TV. Now attention turns to Starks' future in WWE NXT, and though the company will have its Vengeance Day PLE this Saturday, there's no word on whether he'll appear or not. It's worth noting that commentary at NXT did not mention Starks' name, and neither did the former AEW star, and similarly, WWE's social media account haven't mentioned his name. That has led to speculation that WWE could be changing Starks' name, perhaps due to a legal issue with AEW, or Starks not wanting to grant WWE access to his name. Whatever the reason may be, the fans in the Performance Center certainly knew who they were seeing, and the Absolute One earned a massive pop from the audience. On Twitter, Jade Cargill was so proud of Starks, calling NXT's newest arrival "my best friend," while CM Punk shared an Instagram story making clear he's pleased with Starks' move. But what do you think of Starks' NXT debut? Do you think Tony Khan should have done more to keep him? Let us know down in the comments. Starks isn't the only name to exit AEW, as PW Insider reported this week that Miro is also finished with AEW after joining the promotion back in 2020. Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful adds that Miro was discussed for a potential storyline in AEW in 2024 as the former TNT champion was healthy and ready to compete. However, things had been quiet for him for months before his release, and there had been no creative plans for him for the 6 months prior to his exit. Many in AEW had not expected to see him return, and there has been speculation among those in the company that he'll land in WWE, where he previously wrestled as Rusev. Miro's previous WWE run was hurt by inconsistent storytelling under Vince McMahon, which destroyed his momentum and ultimately led to his release. Inconsistent storytelling also hurt Malachi Black in WWE, who, alongside Miro and Starks, has reportedly left AEW and is not under a non-compete clause. If either Miro or Black choose to return to WWE, it'll be interesting to see if Triple H gives them a better opportunity this time around, as doing so could entice more AEW names to jump ship. The wrestling world is still buzzing over WWE's latest round of talent cuts. While these layoffs typically occur on an almost yearly basis, wrestling veteran Bully Ray believes that one particular release may have been influenced by a past relationship. Blair Davenport was among those quietly let go from the Stamford-based promotion last week, marking the end of her nearly 4-year tenure, most of which she spent competing in NXT. Speaking on Busted Open Radio, Bully Ray pointed to Davenport's former relationship with AEW star Will Ospreay as a possible reason for her WWE departure. The ECW legend speculated that Ospreay's past remarks about Triple H and Stephanie McMahon may have played a role in the decision. "Dave, you remember how I always said that pro wrestling is like the mafia? They don't screw with you, they screw with your family. Maybe Will Ospreay should have never made those comments about Triple H and Stephanie McMahon." As part of the WWE draft in 2024, the 28-year-old received her main roster call-up in April, shortly after WrestleMania 40. However, her time on the Blue brand was brief. She competed in just 5 matches, with her last televised bout airing in November 2024. The comments Bully Ray referred to stem from an April 2024 episode of Dynamite. Coincidentally, the same month Davenport was promoted to WWE's main roster. During an interview segment, Ospreay took a shot at Triple H and Stephanie McMahon, saying, "Normally I wouldn't rise to this type of bait, but seeing as the guy that said it is only in the position he's in because he was grinding on the boss's daughter, you're in no position to tell me what the grind is all about, my friend, because you have no idea what I fight for." Ospreay's remarks were in response to Triple H's comments a week earlier on the Pat McAfee show, where he spoke about wrestlers choosing to work where the schedule is lighter and not being in it for the grind. At the time, many fans speculated that Triple H was taking a veiled shot at Ospreay. Bully Ray argued that, despite Ospreay and Davenport breaking up years ago, his words may still have affected his ex-girlfriend's standing in WWE. "Sure it would, absolutely it would, without a doubt. Whether or not they're together, I don't know. They could have been together at one time, but yes, it absolutely would have had something to do with it. Don't kid yourself, you've never spent a day in WWE, you don't know how they work." Ospreay and Davenport were in a relationship for nearly 4 years before splitting in 2021, long before the aerial assassin took aim at Triple H. Ospreay is now dating fellow wrestler Alex Windsor, while Davenport is happily married to NXT star Riley Osborne. Drew McIntyre has been a major talking point as of late, with his walking out of the Royal Rumble and frustrations over WrestleMania 41 plans fueling speculation among fans. Now plans for McIntyre for this April's two-night mega show may be set to change, as following criticism from fans, WWE is reportedly reconsidering the Scotsman's opponent. Chris Featherstone reports the WWE officials are engaged in internal discussions about changing McIntyre's WrestleMania 41 opponent to quell online backlash about his match. It had previously been reported that WWE planned for McIntyre to face Damian Priest at WrestleMania 41, a decision that reportedly frustrated him, but now that may change. There is growing speculation that WWE might pivot to a match between McIntyre and LA Knight, with whom McIntyre has had issues and whom was the source of the issues at the Rumble. While tensions between the pair have since cooled, with references even being made on last week's SmackDown, WWE may be looking to capitalize on their history. McIntyre made an impact during last week's SmackDown by beating Knight and Jimmy Uso to qualify for the Men's Elimination Chamber match that will take place on March 1st in Toronto. With his WrestleMania 41 opponent still uncertain, WWE could be setting up a showdown with LA Knight, or they could have something else entirely in mind for the former world champion. Could WWE shift gears and book McIntyre versus LA Knight for WrestleMania 41, or will they take another direction? Share your thoughts in the comments below. In the main event of WWE NXT, Tony D'Angelo put the NXT North American title on the line against Ridge Holland in a steel cage, and it was the Don who got the win. After the match, though, it was revealed that Izzy Dame had indeed been faking being on D'Angelo's side and attacked Adriana Rizzo in the cage. Dame made her allegiance to Shawn Spears and his faction crystal clear, and with the cage locked, Spears and co. left D'Angelo and Rizzo laid out with the rest of the family unable to help. The Don's family had warned D'Angelo about Dame, and they were clearly right. And could it be that Shawn Spears will be the one to take the gold from the Don? Time will tell. The very last part of WWE NXT saw a tease for Vengeance Day and a tease of the mysterious four superstars who have made clear they are arriving this weekend. In this video, though, there was new footage of the group wearing skull-themed masks, raising more questions about who could be behind this series of videos. This latest vignette delivered more questions than answers, which was of course the intention, and fans have been left speculating and wondering what's to come at Vengeance Day. It's been rumored that these four will be revealed to be absent NXT names, including Saquon Sugars, Cutler James, Keanu Carver, and Dion Lennox, and what'd be huge for these talents. There's also been speculation that Hikuleo, who's been under contract for some time, could be involved, while Scripps' name has also been speculated on despite being let go in 2024. Some believe that Ricky Starks could be connected to the group, but fans will just have to wait and see who is revealed at this Saturday's premium live event. Are you excited to see who this group of wrestlers turn out to be? What do you foresee happening at NXT Vengeance Day? Share your thoughts and ideas in the comments. NXT Vengeance Day is set for Saturday, February 15th in Washington, D.C. at the Entertainment and Sports Arena, and now the women's title match has gotten bigger. This week's NXT opened with a singles match between Bayley and Cora Jade, and during the match, Bayley was caught off guard when her old WWE theme song played. Roxanne Perez then made her way to the ring dressed as Bayley's iconic hugger gimmick, creating a distraction that allowed Cora Jade to capitalize and secure the win. Post-match, NXT GM Ava announced that Jade had been added to the title match at Vengeance Day, making it a fatal four-way that'll also feature Perez, Bayley, and the champion Julia. Julia had been set to defend her title against Perez and Bayley, but Cora Jade earned her spot, and the segment ended with Bayley shoving Perez into Jade, furthering tensions between the two. Jade's entry in the match has made the contest all the more unpredictable, and who do you think will walk away as champion? Share your predictions in the comments. On this week's Raw, Liv Morgan suffered a nasty cut on her upper eyelid, and during a Q&A on Backstage Pass, WrestleVotes shared an update on Morgan, stating, "She's got a couple of stitches afterward. Everything I've heard is she's fine and that she's good, but it looked great. Blood in a women's match on Monday Night Raw always stands out. I don't think it was planned, but it looked good." Morgan herself has commented on the situation, as on Twitter, she shared that she's still cute according to Dominic, and fans should expect to see her back in the ring very soon. Back to NXT, as last week, Lexis King returned to his heelish ways when speaking to the fans and explained that he was changing the rules of the NXT Heritage Cup he possesses. Rather than use traditional British rules which utilized rounds and superstars trying to earn points, King said that the title defenses will now be a single fall like all other titles in WWE. King's promo was interrupted by TNA Wrestling's JDC, formerly known as Fandango, and after a back and forth between the two, JDC challenged King to a cup match. This had fans excited, as winning the cup would have made JDC the first active TNA star to hold a WWE title, and this match was JDC's first for NXT since June 15th, 2021. That match saw Fandango and Tyler Breeze defeat Imperium, but he couldn't get the win this week, as King would retain the cup after hitting the coronation on JDC. Though JDC didn't win, Vic Joseph on commentary talked a lot about the TNA star possibly holding a title in NXT, as the WWE TNA partnership could see titles bounce between shows. There was an oddness to this week's match as while WWE acknowledged JDC's Fandango past last week, they kept their focus on him being JDC during this week's show. That in theory makes sense due to his status with TNA, but it sure made for a surprising change of tone between his return last week and this week's episode. It was shared that next week Zaria and Sol Ruca will face Metaphor's Lash Legend and Jakara Jackson, but in this segment, Nikkita Lyons arrived to have some choice words for Zaria. That's up a match for the show between two of NXT's most powerful women, and while they use very different styles of offense, the pair are relatively evenly matched. Zaria fought through Lyons' best efforts to hit her version of the F5, and while the energy of the match was high, the match didn't last long enough to be anything more than a quick showcase. WWE are not calling Zaria's move an F5, likely as they don't want to reference Brock Lesnar, and do you think a new name should be used if WWE aren't comfortable with this one? Sound off below. This week, WWE announced its next premium live event for NXT as Roadblock will take place on March 11th from the theater at Madison Square Garden in New York City. Though it's great to see NXT go on the road and give young talent the experience of touring, this announcement is another step towards NXT having PLEs every single month. If that happens, it raises the question as to whether this will devalue the NXT brand and ultimately make special events less special, as fans know another event isn't too far away. As long as WWE NXT continues to provide top quality shows regularly, the idea of more events shouldn't be a problem in theory, but what do you think? Let us know in the comments. Days ahead of the NXT title match at Vengeance Day, Austin Theory and Grayson Waller were on NXT, and there were issues between the former tag team champions. Obafemi declared that the egos of both men would prove to be their undoing in their title match, and these egos were on full display during last night's show. Despite their butting heads, A-Town Down Under were able to lay out the ruler, but things will definitely reach a boiling point as only one man can leave Vengeance Day as NXT champion. The tag team shared that they will work together to take out Femi in the triple threat, even saying that they'll use chairs and bury the NXT champion under the announce table at Vengeance Day. Only then will the pair work out who should become NXT champion, but with both challengers wanting the gold, it'll be interesting to see who walks away with the title. If Obafemi's past is any indication, the ruler won't hold back despite the odds not being on his side, and who do you see winning the triple threat? Give your predictions in the comments. A triple threat tag team match saw Hank and Tank, Miles Bourne and Tavion Heights, and Josh Briggs and Yoshiki Inamura deliver an intense showdown on NXT. While this wasn't officially for a title shot, the commentary team noted that Ava and Fraxium would be watching, teasing that the victors would receive an opportunity soon. Inamura was the first star to get significant offense in, but it didn't last long as this was a fast-paced, momentum-swinging match right from the start. All three teams did a great job making this match seem like the most important match, especially since most of the names competing are still waiting for their first championship. Hank and Tank were a two-man wrecking crew heading into a commercial break, and while this match had moments, it was a struggle to remember who the legal man was. That could be chalked up to so much happening in the ring, and the announcers did a good job at keeping things straight before Briggs and Inamura scored the win. As the NXT Tag Champions looked on from the crow's nest, Fraxium congratulated the pair and after putting them over, agreed to face Briggs and Inamura for the titles at Vengeance Day. It was revealed that Javon Evans is medically cleared to compete against Ethan Page at NXT Vengeance Day after previously having his jaw broken by the former NXT champion. Dr. David Cohen gave an update on Evans during the show and said that while Evans is cleared, he is concerned that Javon could severely re-injure his jaw should he compete. Dr. Cohen said that in the case of another fracture, Evans would be out for at least another 6 months, and even said that it'd be possible he'd be medically disqualified from ever wrestling again. With that in mind, Ava had Evans sign a waiver to legally protect herself and NXT from whatever Page could potentially do to Evans in their upcoming match. With WWE not being liable for if Evans gets hurt this weekend, it could be the most brutal match at Vengeance Day, and one fans won't want to miss. Eddie Thorpe appeared in a video package to challenge Trick Williams to a strap match at NXT Vengeance Day, and Williams accepted the challenge to make their showdown official. Next month will mark 3 years since Big E's unfortunate broken neck injury, and ever since, fans have been hoping to see the former WWE champion back in the ring. While Big E hasn't been competing, he continues to remain active, and this week the New Day alum shared photos from the gym which showed off his impressive physique. While Big E has remained active with WWE doing media events and post-shows, fans still hope to see him wrestle, and the popular star certainly looks ready to wrestle, judging by this pic. Between this and other positive reports, this is likely a confirmation that Big E is cleared to wrestle, and fans can expect to see him face either Xavier Woods or Kofi Kingston at WrestleMania. If WWE has concerns about Big E's return, they could put him in a tag match with a partner against the New Day in April, in what would be a huge return match for the former champion. At Wrestle Dynasty, the Young Bucks won the IWGP Tag Team titles, besting Tetsuya Naito and Hiromu Takahashi and Great Khan and Jeff Cobb to capture the previously vacated gold. Now the reign of the Bucks has come to an end, as at the new beginning in Osaka this week, the brothers lost the gold to Naito and Takahashi. This was a fairly even match, which saw the action spill out of the ring, and the finish saw Naito get the pin over Nick Jackson to capture the titles. With their IWGP tag title reign over, it seems more likely that the Bucks will return to AEW TV soon, as the pair haven't wrestled for AEW since losing the AEW tag team titles back in October 2024. With Kenny Omega battling the Don Callis family, perhaps the Bucks will return to help Omega out, and whatever's planned, fans can expect the duo back in the near future. Earlier this month, news broke that Andrade and Charlotte Flair had gotten divorced after first meeting in 2019 and tying the knot in the ceremony in Mexico in 2022. Though news only recently broke, the pair had actually divorced back in October 2024, and now Andrade has shared another revelation from his personal life. On Twitter, Andrade shared a photo with a young boy captioned "4th-generation Andrade family," and in a follow-up post confirmed that the person in the photograph is his son. This post shocked fans, given that Andrade had never previously mentioned having a child, with some speculating on whether Flair was the mother. Judging by the age of the boy, that seems unlikely, as Flair would need significant time off if she were pregnant, and had not had that amount of time off until a recent injury in late 2023. The boy is clearly too old to have been born during that time window, and it's far more likely that the child was from a previous relationship of the former WWE NXT champion. Andrade is a very private person, so details about past relationships are hard to come by, but the WWE star is now ready for the world to know that he has a son. And we're ending with Rey Mysterio, a known fan of pop culture, and over the years, he has incorporated several comic book characters from the worlds of Marvel and DC into his ring gear. Speaking with Adrian Hernandez, Mysterio was asked about his WrestleMania outfits, which have been inspired by the Joker, Captain America, and others, but caused problems for WWE. Mysterio shared that WWE advised him to scale back his designs because they were becoming too detailed, and this attracted legal concerns. While Mysterio tried to keep his attires low-key, just using color schemes or small elements like stars, the resemblance to established characters didn't go unnoticed. Mysterio recalled his first superhero-inspired gear in AAA, where he dressed as a version of Superman, which featured tights with trunks and a Superman logo, but with a question mark. A small red cape finished off the nod to the last son of Krypton, and since then, Rey has expanded his designs to include Batman, Spider-Man, and others during his WWE run. Eventually, though, WWE had to tell him to scale it back as they started receiving cease and desist letters from comic publishers who believed Rey was infringing on their IPs. We'll have to wait and see when Rey will debut another superhero-inspired character, as with WrestleMania 41 approaching, Rey shared that he already has a good idea about his next attire.